Hello again. We got here.
Nasıl gidecek?
Okay. Okay. Let's continue. Okay. In previous lecture, we said how we create a class. For example, this one is how we can create a class. Of course, we are not using here methods, but this is also a valid class definition. So, and also I told you that it will not be just useful if we don't create any objects. So from the previous class, if we want to create an object, this is class name and this is new object name. So just to write the class name and the object name to a statement is enough to declare a new object. So when we create an object from the class, the objects will have their own copy of data members. So actually, all these features will be the features of the objects. Okay. So the public data members of objects of a class can be accessed by using the direct member access operator dot. So we are using dot to have access, but this is directly. But we can't do it with private or protected members directly. Later we will learn how can be accessed private and protected members. Okay, this is the first program that I'm going to show you. But also I will do it just instead of copying it from there, I will copy it from the resource that I am taking the most of the examples and lecture notes. So this is the program that I'm going to copy it. It has a compiler, but I don't like it because it is very slow. I'm going to use online GDB. Of course, we have another compiler, dev C++, but while I'm teaching, it is easier to do it by using online compiler because it is easier to just run and see the results. So that's why I am selecting this one, but normally I am using dev C++ as compiler. Okay. So if I ask you, where is the class declaration? You have to tell me this region. So we are defining the class here. If I ask you where we created the objects, you have to show here. So if I ask you the name of the objects, you have to say me box 1 and box 2. Okay. But how we can read like a compiler? I mean, if we don't have any compiler to read the program, for example, in examination. So we should do what? We have to just trace it like a compiler and try to understand the result. So here we are going to do a similar thing. So I'm trying to make it to appear in one page so I can more easily yes. So okay. So when we start to read a program, first of all, we have to start from the main program because everything is happening there. Okay, we can, for example, write a class, but if you don't just create any object, this program will not work or will not function as we want. So we have to start from the main program. And when we start by creating an object, compiler will, the first thing is to check if there is a class name as box or not. So it will check, okay, there's a class with name box. So from box class, we can create a box1 object. And again, we can create another object. So we can create several objects from one class. Double volume, this is a regular variable declaration and initialization. So it is not different than the other things that we are doing. So box1 specification. First of all, what did we say? We can directly have access to a class member. So it means we can modify it, we can update it, we can initialize it, whatever we want. So, or we can see it, we can print it. So we can have access to a class member if the label is public. So we can directly access. So in box1 specification, it is doing that thing. Because of all values are public, we don't need to just do something indirect. So we can directly have access. We can change or initialize the height value, length value, breadth value. So we directly change the height of box1 object as 5.0. So why we are using that dot? Here we are mentioning the name of the object. So system can distinguish. I am going to change height value or length value, but it belongs to which object? We have to specify. So we are saying that the height of box1, okay, the length of box1 or the breadth of box1. So so it is like several people having the same names, but we can distinguish them by using their last names. So box1 or box2 is just we have to mention that this is the height of box 1. So here, what did we do? We changed height, length, and breadth of box 1 object. So if we have two objects, let's say box 1 and box 2, box 2. So we have length, we have breadth, and we have breadth, and we have height values, and also this one has its own length, breadth, and height values. Okay, so if this one is length was what, 6.0, and in box 2 length is 12. Sorry about my writing. So I'm trying to say that we are saving them in different objects when we use it like that. So in box 1, we just directly have access to height, length, and breadth and change the values. We can do the same thing in box 2 as well and change the values. Okay. And then to calculate the volume is just a variable. So we just calculate box 1 height, which it is 5, box 1 length, which it is 6, box 1 breadth. When we multiply them, it will be result 210. Okay, so the volume will be 210. And here the aim is not to save it anywhere. That's why they use the same volume. Okay, so it is, the aim is just to display the results. So it puts, okay, here, if it did here inside volume we have 210, but after these statements it will be assigned a new value. What is new value? Box 1, box 2 height is 10, box 2 length is 12, box 2 breadth is 13. So I don't remember exactly, 102, 1260, something like that. So this is another result. So each box has different volume and we can display it like this. So let's execute the code to see what is the result. Okay, the first volume is 210, the second one 1560. Okay, so I want to show you something. Now we just made this very simple program. It is not different than using structs. We didn't start to use any functions, but let me to show you what will happen if we declare some variable as private. No, not declare. If you just access specifier as private. So here the rule says that if you make it public, all the variables or functions are public until it reach to another label like this. So these two are public. The height is private now. So what does it mean by private? You cannot have access outside of the class. Where is class? Class is here. So to this variable, you cannot make access. You cannot reach it. You cannot change it. You cannot print it. So from where? From this region. So if you try to reach it directly, it will give an error. So which one is private? Height is private. So this one and this one, and also this one and this one, that we are directly trying to access to this value, it will give error. Let's check it. Okay. So look, in line 17, what is line 17? The first line of the program that we try to have access to box height. It is saying what? Error, box height is private within this context. So it is saying it is private. What are the other places that it is giving error? In line 21. Okay, in line 21, again it is will have same error. Again in line 25, I can say without checking the errors, because I know in which line we try to reach to height variable. And in line 28, it will be again give an error because of we declare it as private. How we can reach? Of course, we sometimes need to change this kind of variables. How can we do it? We can do it by setter and getter methods. We will see them later. Okay. Okay, I hope you got the point till this part. Let's continue. This is the same program that I already showed to you. Okay, so in future topics, we will see classes and objects in more detail. So we will start from class member functions. So let's check what is class member function. Okay, a member function is a class of a class is a function that it has definition or its prototype within the class definition like any other variable. So okay, so if we have definition or its prototype inside the class like the variables, we are saying that it is member function. So I explained it before, but let me to explain again. Here the variables are data members, as I told you before, and the functions are member functions. So here we have some difference. This one and this one are different. Not both of them are functions, but this is a kind of prototype because there is only name of the function and parameters, and return type is given here. But for the second one, it is having the class definition itself. So this one means that if it is declared like that, if the programmer knows what to do, it means that I put the prototype here, and after finish this class, I will write the definition. But why they need to do something like that? Because sometimes we can create our class with several functions, several variables, and if the function definitions are long, not very short like this one, in this case, what we have to do, it will be not easy to read the class. So we can put only the prototype, and we can define data after the class. So our class definition will be simplified. So, but here we were talking about the member function. So that's why it is saying a member function is a member function of a class is either the definition of a function or the prototype inside the class. Okay, so in both cases we are calling them as member functions. So this void get data and display functions are member functions, we can say. Okay. So a member function operates on any object of the class on which it is a member, and has access to all the members of a class for that object. So we previously defined a class, and that's just develop it a little bit. So here again we have class box, public label, and here we have 3 variables, and here we have a function. But we have only the declaration, I mean the prototype. So it means the definition is somewhere after the class definition. So member functions can be defined within the class definition, which means if we put the definition of the function inside the class, it is within. Or separately using scope resolution operator. Or we can put the declaration or the prototype inside the class, like only writing the return type, name of the function, and parameter of the function. And then we will define that function after the class definition. So we can use scope resolution operator to define it. So also, while we are using a member function within the class, like this one, like void display. So you can also write inline as keyword, but it is not a must. When it is declared, defined like that, it will be understood. Okay, so the previous one was actually it is not inline. We need to define it outside of the class, as I told you. But here it is inline. Why? Because we just define the program function inside of the class. So it is inline. And normally you can write inline keyword, but it is not necessary. It is working in both ways. So let's say you just declare it. I mean, just write the prototype of the function like this. So after this semicolon, you have to define it like this. Like this. You have to, after the semicolon of the class, you have to write the data type of the function, return type of the function, the name of the function, sorry, the return type of the function, name of the function, and parameters. And this one is extra things. I mean, if you erase this one, it is not different than a regular function definition. But this one shows it is belongs to which class, and this scope resolution operator is says the name and the return type of the function. Okay, so we have to use, if we declare it, we are not declaring it inline, we just put the prototype, we have to put in between the name of the class and scope resolution operator. Okay, a member function like the variables can be called using a dot operator. For example, when we create an object as my box, and if there is a function inside box class as get volume, so I can reach that function by using myBox.getVolume. Of course, if it is, its get volume is public. Okay, the other program, let me to one second. Okay. So let me do again, copy. It is a similar program, but just it is a little bit modified. Okay. First of all, let's check the class. Now we have some variables and we have some functions. So it is starting to become the object-oriented programming. Okay. So again, that's let me to show this one. These are not declared inline, means the definitions are not inline class. They are prototypes, all of them. So the definitions are where the definition of get volume function is here, just after the class definition. Class, okay. So let's start our program. Actually, our program starting from here. The others we are going to check when we need it. So box 1, box 2, we created 2 objects. Okay. Box 1 dot set length. The parameter is 6.0. So we are calling the set length function of box 1. So when we call it, it will go to set length here. First of all, the system should check if the modifier type is public or not. It is public, it can directly call it. Then it will, this one is only prototype, so compiler will go to this place to just get the result. Sorry, we have to use set length. So the things that we did so far, it doesn't matter. So it is going to set length. So where is set length function definition? Here. So here this argument is len. So the value of set length 6.0 as parameter. So it will be the value of len. And then we are going to, inside the function, we will assign the len value into length. So we are doing this kind of indirect things. You can ask me why we didn't directly, okay, if I want to change the length value here, why we didn't directly do it? And we try to create, just use functions to do it. Because normally this label will be public as this place, and the data will be private. So when the data is private, you can't have access directly. I mean, you can't say, for example, box1 dot length, something like that. So because of that, we will start to understand how we can indirectly reach the values. So it is public. I'm going to erase this one for now. So that's why we try to reach indirectly. So again, for set breadth, breadth value will be 7.0, height value will be 5.0. So here we can just assign the values of length, breadth, and height indirectly. So now it is going to do same thing for box 2. In this case, different object. It is going to just put the values. So at the end, when you call box1.getVolume, box1.getVolume is this function. So it will just return length, breadth, and height as double. So it will give us the volume. And again, this one will give us the volume of box 2. So if we do it like that, normally I'm going to show you, it will give the same result. But if the label is public for all of them, there is no logic to use these functions. For example, you can say, instead of trying to reach a function and then change the value of the parameter and assign it to the value of the variable, we can just do it box1.length is 6.0. So if I do this one, it will again give the same result. But if I change it to, for example, like this, if I change it to private, and change this one as public, in this case, this line will give me error. Where is it? This one. Because it will check for this one. It needs this one. Let's execute and lecture will finish. I will connect again. As you see, it will give error. It gives error. Okay. I'm stopping the